Quick disclaimer, we are not investigative journalists. We simply read, watch, and listen to whatever we can to satisfy our curiosity while use this information to form our own personal opinions. Do not take this as investigative journalism. This is simply our own rabbit holes.
Hello, friends, and get ready. We're going to talk about the docs, the crimes, and all the people involved. This is Crime and Chill.
Hey guys, I'm Victoria.
And I'm Rachel.
Rachel, how are you?
Well, I mean, it's almost Halloween, so living my best life, and I'm getting my fireplace fixed, and your nose piercing is sticking out saying hi to me. And yeah, that's about it. How are you?
Hey,
You're okay?
I'm okay.
Okay.
We're just okay today. It's okay.
Yeah. Better than to complain.
Yeah,
You know.
you know.
So what we got in crime news?
So, we're going back a little bit. So, on October 6th, a body was found inside of a Greer, South Carolina home. The following Monday, the body was identified as 41-year-old Christina Parcell.
I had this for next week. I have theories on this.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about it.
Okay.
Do you want me to change it?
Darn cordial corn. No, we don't have to change it. We can talk about my theories. Go ahead.
Okay. So, it was ID'd as 41-year-old Christina Parcell. Her cause of death was because of multiple sharp force injuries. And this case is currently being treated as a homicide.
Well, duh.
But there's more. The man she was engaged to, Bradley Post, who's 65, was arrested after investigators found child pornography. He was initially charged with third-degree sexual exploitation of a minor. And since the initial arrest, he has also been charged with 5 counts of sexual exploitation of a minor in the first degree. Oh, but there's more, peoples. The man Christina shared custody of a child with, John Mello, who is 61, so she liked her men a little older, it seems like, turned himself in on outstanding warrants where he took the child they shared out of the country, preventing Christina from receiving her court-ordered visitation. And upon his arrival back in the U.S., Mello turned himself in and has been charged with custody order pending / transport of a child under 16 and not returning the child within 72 hours to Parcell. So, we have a whole hot mess on our hands.
Yeah, she had a GoFundMe at one point to try to get her children back.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I mean, I have a whole bunch of... So, like, there was court battles going on with the ex-husband or the baby daddy, whatever. And then you got... She just like some really sketchy fucking men. So which one do you think did it?
I think Bradley did it.
You see, I don't know. Because up until, like, what was he arrested 4 or 5 days ago? 3 or 4 days ago?
Bradley?
No, the child molester dude.
That's Bradley.
Yeah, he was arrested like 3 or 4 days ago. Her body was found at the beginning of the month, and then his arrest was only it wasn't maybe a week ago.
Yeah, they said it was from a separate investigation that they found.
Yeah, bullshit. I thought the baby daddy did it. But then he gets arrested, and I was like, damn, you just like some sketchy men. So I don't know.
Yeah, so there could have been like a side piece action happening. My theory is, again, just theories. We have no fucking idea.
It's still an open investigation.
Yeah, it's still an open investigation. Who knows? I think maybe she found out about
the child molestation.
Yeah.
See, that would make sense. Although, think about it. Wouldn't it also make sense? The baby daddy's tired of dealing with fucking crazy ass, in his eyes, crazy ass baby mama and just gets rid of her so that he can come back to the U.S. and be like, she's dead now. I got my kids. But it all just, what the?
But, wait, so did he just get back into the U.S.?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if he just got back into the U.S., when did he leave?
How do we know he didn't come back before?
Yeah.
How do we know he didn't come back in? How do we know he didn't pay somebody? I mean, if you got enough money to pick up your kids and leave the country, you got some kind of money.
Yeah. So I don't know. Now you're making me question.
Yeah, and there was, I think it was 2019, like December of 2019, she was on this GoFundMe, like giving updates about the case. They've been out of the country for at least 3 years.
Oh, wow.
She's been battling him for at least 3 years to get her children back.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's awful.
Yeah, like how... So Cody Alcorn did the original story about finding the body and then giving her identification. So, like...
For people that aren't from here, Cody Alcorn is one of our local news anchors, and we are big fans and we love him.
Yeah, he's an investigative journalist who takes his job
Very seriously.
Very
He's
serious.
currently, actually, this morning, people are pissed at him because he's posting about a tortoise that went missing. And I'm like, why do you guys care?
I mean, let's spread the news. Like, he's good at his job. We might as well share it.
Yeah.
But they were all over his post about this. Like, have the police look into this GoFundMe, look into the ex-husband, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if it's husband or not. But her GoFundMe page, like, so, Cody Alcorn puts a story out. And of course, with every homicide victim that they identify, I go and search their name in Facebook because I'm fucking sick and I want to see the person they were before they were murdered. Anyways, she didn't have a Facebook. So I started reading like other articles about her, and then I found the GoFundMe. So then I had to like match them up, and it is the same woman. She had a GoFundMe where she was trying to raise money for legal expenses to get her children back. And this was years. I mean, this has been going on for like 2019 is the last update I remember seeing on it. I can't find it because probably other creepers like me stole shit. But
Probably.
yeah, I mean, who could have done it? Which one?
Or could it have been something else entirely?
I mean, if this
Who
is the
knows?
two type of men that you're hanging out with, what kind of friends do you associate with? But I don't think anything was stolen out of the house. I think that was mentioned that nothing was
Yeah. I
appeared to be
didn't see
stolen,
anything about anything
like a
being
robbery
stolen.
or anything like that.
So I got really intrigued by that case. So I'm sorry
Yeah,
that
me
you
too.
had it ready.
I was like, this is gonna be the one. It's okay, I got another one. But
Great.
yeah, so I don't know who did it.
But I'm ready to find out.
Do you think that he had brought something home that she had seen it and in a fit of rage just killed her, or was it premeditated? Because they had a marriage application already completed.
So I think my personal theory on this is that I think personally he probably forgot to close something out, or like you said, he brought something in and he didn't know she was home, something along those lines. And she was gonna rat his ass out of like, oh hell no, this is not fucking happening in my house. And he was like, oh, I'm not going down for this. But I do not buy for a second. I mean, maybe there was possibly already an investigation going on. Like maybe, because there are cops that are sleuthing the web trying to catch these people.
I've served him before. Yeah, I've served him at Waffle House. This is
Okay.
not this subdivision is not far from where I used to work and live. Like Nick went to school across the street from this subdivision, and I've served him before.
Oh.
And I don't know how anybody could not get weirdo vibes from him to begin with. So I don't.
It's interesting.
I don't think the investigation was going on prior to her death.
You don't think so?
No.
I don't completely buy that it was a separate investigation,
No.
but it is
Because
possible.
in the initial investigation, they talk about how they took computers.
Yeah. I think we're going to hear sooner rather than later one of them did it or one of them arranged for it to be done. That's what I think.
And that's a very emotional, like to repeatedly stab somebody.
That's why I think it was Bradley.
And they never turned in the application for marriage. So they took the application out, like I think it said June or something. Maybe July. I think it was June. But they never returned it to complete the marriage. So like when you go get married, if you're not getting married at the courthouse, you got to go get the application, go to the notary and everything and do the ceremony or however you're going to get married. And then you have to turn it back in. She never turned it back in.
So they did go through the process.
Yes, they went through the process to get the application where you both have to be there. You both have to show, that you're of sound mind and you're not being forced into this marriage. You get the paperwork and then
fill out all the paperwork,
get notarized and send it back in. So they weren't legally married yet, but why did they go get the paperwork if they didn't intend on being married? And why? I mean, it was June or July. That's a long time to have that application out. Most people take it out for like a week. So
I remember I got married in a courthouse, so I filled my paperwork out there and turned it back in there.
Once you get married, they sign it at the marriage.
Yeah.
And then you turn it, back in. You don't turn it in until you're married.
Yeah. But we turned in the first initial, so what was turned in was the paperwork saying our names, marriages, like.
And then they give you then they give you the application that you take to the judge or whatever to sign, and then that paperwork goes back.
Well, they just had it. They didn't give us any paperwork to take with us.
Well, my notary,
But you also didn't get married in a courthouse. I did.
I got married outside. So for us, we had to do the initial application where we show our name, our date of birth, our place of birth,
all that fun shit.
Yeah, and then
it's a amount of paperwork to get married, guys. I don't know if you're not married, it's an amount of paperwork. I didn't realize.
I mean, do you want people marrying multiple people and just going about their business with the 100 fucking wives that are all legal?
If everybody is consenting to the situation, who gives a shit?
There's reasons why you can't,
I mean, I'm sure
like
there is.
medical insurance and the cost of things like that, where you can't pay for all your wives to have medical insurance.
All I can think of is sister
The
wives.
wives. But yeah, so that's an interesting case that you picked.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that could go into it, and that is going into it, and I am 100% positive we will be revisiting this by the end of the year. Because there's going to be something else coming out about it. It might not be like, oh, this is what happened, but...
More juicy details to go with it.
Mhm. What are we talking about today, Rachel?
Well, today's case. So when you think of like unsolved crimes, you think of like the big room and the big boxes to go with the crime, like lots of boxes. But
Yeah.
today's story that we're going to talk about is an unsolved crime out of Galveston, Texas, where Hurricane Ike erased all of the evidence from this case besides a set of fingerprints and a VHS tape. That was all they had left. This show that I initially watched was originally on ABC. It was called Unsolved, and they had put it on Hulu, like as a rewatch kind of thing. And the episode goes over a couple unsolved murders in Texas. The story caught my attention though, just because all it had left was a VHS tape, and it happened on Halloween of 1989. So this is 32 years with nothing. Like, it's been cold the whole time. But before we dive deeper into this, what are you going to rate it?
So I really liked it. Also, I just like the whole how they do Unsolved of where it's multiple cases.
I like how there are multiple cases, but they're all in the same area. Did you
Yeah.
notice that? They were all
All within that.
like saved on gas. Let's record all of these real quick and then
Yeah.
go to the next spot. I like her voice.
Yeah. And then we also, I know we both listened to it, was Nancy Grace did a podcast on it. I'm not a fan of Nancy Grace. Everybody knows this. We're not silent about the fact that we don't really care for Nancy Grace. I don't mind her on her podcast.
I don't mind her podcast. Her voice is different on her podcast.
Yeah.
And she actually goes into a case instead of starting shit about a case.
Yeah.
Like, I definitely like her better as a podcast speaker than as a TV anchor on CNN or something, whatever she's usually on.
Yeah. I agree. But as far as overall rating, I
was gonna say the same thing.
don't really have an exact rating.
I don't have a rating either. I think it was the story caught my attention more than the actual.
Yeah.
Like, just what it caught my attention was the fact that all they have left is a fucking VHS tape.
What I'm curious.
How did everything else get ruined except a VHS tape?
Also, the fingerprints surviving is also a little weird to me.
They were, so I saw a picture. Did you see in the, they like zoom past it real quick where how they had it preserved? It was like 3 layers of plastic. So it was like waterproofed. But how did VHS tape survive? Okay, have you had a VHS? No, you're too young. But
VHS tapes
don't freaking, they get stuck in VHS players and get ruined. I mean, like, they get ruined over anything. It's not like a DVD, like you can buff out the scratch. How the hell did that survive? Like, that's a miracle.
Yeah.
I'm glad something survived.
Yeah.
I'm just confused how the hurricane took out so many cases worth of evidence. But it left a VHS tape, which the VHS, I feel like, is a lot of evidence. You see the crowd, you see the murder weapon, you see the setting, you see the blood splatter.
The body.
Yeah, I mean,
obviously they blurred it out for TV purposes, but the body's in the tape.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very thorough recording.
Yeah.
I just can't believe that's how it survived. So I don't have a rating for the show because, I mean, it's a show.
It's a show. It's one of those, if you like true crime but you don't want to like watch an hour-plus documentary about a specific crime.
Yeah, you just kind of want background sound because that's initially what I had put it on for.
Yeah.
Was the background sound.
That's the kind of stuff I usually put on for background sound. And then something ends up catching my attention and then I stopped doing what I was doing because...
Yeah, I mean, it was background sound, and really the only thing that caught my attention is when they said the only evidence left was a VHS tape, and I was like,
wait,
what the fuck? But yeah, so, yeah, I don't have a rating.
It's meh.
Meh.
It's I would suggest watching it. It's cool enough to watch, but...
And they're quick, and the
like,
seasons are very short.
There were like 3 episodes.
Yeah, I was not expecting that. But I mean, think about it. That's 3, 6, 9. It's at least 9 homicides that they're investigating.
Yeah.
In that season, so...
So, if you want to watch this, it is the ABC Unsolved. It is on Hulu. This case that we are talking about, it is in season 1, episode 2, along with a couple other cases. It is the second case they talk about in that show. So, yeah, let's talk about it.
Alrighty. Well, now that we've rated it, but we really didn't rate it, let's get into the unsolved crime. And hopefully, will be the 32nd anniversary of this crime. So hopefully, there's some closure for the family soon. I don't foresee it happening. Not
This long.
Yeah, I just kind of feel like if you knew something, you would have said something by now. October 31st of 1989 was Halloween in Galveston, Texas. Sylvia Salinas was working at a grocery store. It was hers. She owned it. She was only 30 years old and she had a head full of curls, which, oh my God, I just loved her curls.
She had really pretty hair.
Very pretty hair and a very, like, attractive smile. Like, looking at pictures of her, I was like, oh my God, we could have totally been friends.
Yeah.
Like, she looked very welcoming. And I think that's what made her customers feel welcomed. She had owned the store for 10 years at the time of her death.
Yo, can we talk about this?
So this means in the early 80s, this young woman is running her own store.
Yeah. I was like, wait, what?
Woman power. I was so, I love that.
That part, I was just like, what? Because let's
I mean, at 20 years old, I could barely function as I mean, like, I paid my bills and shit. I had a kid, but there's no way I was owning my own store.
No. Hell no.
No. I mean, that really shows, like, how determined and motivated she was to have her dream of a family grocery store. Never really understood that.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a strange dream. And was it family owned before and she bought them out? Like, I didn't understand that.
no, I didn't understand either. I like that was her dream and goal because you have to think we have a few of those stores around here where it's just those random
I don't like
grocery
those.
stores. Right, but I think if it was one like this where this person was running it and you walked into the store and it was her,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
somebody looked like her and had that welcoming aspect to
Because
it.
all I think of Sunny's, and I'm like,
Yeah,
don't
like,
eat there, don't drink there.
don't do anything in Sunny's.
Yeah.
Sorry if you're listening to this and you like Sunny's. Our bad. No, I think maybe she just wanted to be that cool corner store of the neighborhood where people just realized, hey, I need this real quick because they were like, she had batteries, she had food.
Yeah, she had like everything
She
that
had
you could
everything
possibly
under the
need
fucking sun.
right in her own little neighborhood. And that's what's really sad is like everybody in the neighborhood knew her. And it was a very like, I mean, again, we're looking at this 30 years later when this is recorded, but this looks like a very,
Wait.
yeah, like it's not like this is in the middle of a city.
Yeah.
There's houses around it. And, this is like almost like a convenience store, but with more.
Yeah.
And that's what I think made customers so happy to go there.
Convenience, man. But her life would be cut short by someone who robbed and murdered Sylvia with a knife. The stabbings were very vicious with a knife through the heart. My God.
How cruel. I mean, you can stab somebody across the neck and they're going to die. You know what I mean? Like, but to actually go through the heart.
That's just fucked.
As she's sitting there, she was sitting on a stool.
Yeah. And the family says she had a machete and a
gun.
under the counter. She never touched him. This person went behind the counter and she never touched him.
So, and again, her family insisted as well as police that she knew her killer. But the murderer entered the store at 1:20. By 1:23, the silent alarm is set off by him or her stealing all of the money out of the register.
Yeah, because they got the register open
with a knife.
Was it the same knife?
I don't know, but it was with a knife.
So they got the cash register
The
open
knife
with a
was
knife.
left at the scene too.
That's another thing that's weird.
Well, I mean, from the course of 1:20 to 1:27, when the police got there, she's dead, the money's gone, the killer's gone.
Yeah, this was planned.
Yeah, so, and when they say, oh, well, she had to know her killer, okay.
But also, it doesn't seem like she would have had
Enough time to react. Yeah, can you imagine, like, someone walks in, within 3 minutes, they have murdered her and stolen all of the money. Within 4 minutes after that, the police are there, and nobody's there besides the dead body.
Yeah.
So while I hope she doesn't know her assailant, I really truly don't believe she knew her assailant.
No, because I don't really freaking fast.
Yeah, it was way too fast. It's been 32 years and nobody said anything. Like, even if you don't know.
It was the middle of the fucking day.
1:20 in the afternoon, it's fucking bright out. You know what I mean? And that's crazy. You didn't hear her scream. You didn't hear any kind of a tussle. You didn't see anybody go in the store. I mean, back in 1989, there wasn't like security cameras like we have today everywhere we go, but it was like a ghost went in and came out.
Yeah.
Within 7 minutes. It had to been less than 7 minutes because the cops said they didn't see anybody on the road.
Yeah. So This was meticulously planned down to the minute.
Yeah.
Like, they knew.
Except they didn't know that an alarm was set.
Yeah, they didn't know that, but they knew they were going to get in and get the fuck out. Unless, I mean, it's very possible they could have known there was a silent.
And that's why they got out so quick?
Yeah, because like, if we go along with the theory that she knew her assailant, they might have known there was a silent alarm.
They might have. And her brother insisted that she was like not a naive woman. She was very aware of her surroundings. And I agree. I mean, I'm sure she was. But how could she have had any time to react? Within 3 minutes of entering the store, the alarm goes off.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he wasn't in there prying the cash register open while she's still alive.
No. So it seems like they walked in at 1:20, straight for her, stab, get the cash, open the cash register, get it all out, bolt.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope for the family's sake she really doesn't know, but can you imagine for 32 years now you're wondering which person in her circle is her killer?
It's awful. And then, like, when they show the videotape, my brain, and they show the crowd outside, my brain went,
Which one of you?
yeah, which one of you was it?
So there was 20 individuals that were all interviewed at the time of the homicide, and not a single one of them panned out. They were all cleared of their being a suspect. I don't see how they could have gotten that far that quickly.
I don't understand. And then that's why.
Or were they hiding when the police
Okay,
got there?
I have theories on this. Is either, so I have two theories. A, they were hiding, or B, they lived right there.
Mm-hmm.
And all they had to do was go home.
Yep.
And that's why I think she might have known them, but she didn't know
them. Yeah. So it might have been somebody who casually went to the store on a regular basis.
Yeah. So she was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I know you.
To walk through the door. And I don't think she allowed them behind the counter.
Yeah.
She
could have looked one way for 2 freaking seconds, and it seems like with as speedy as this person was and as planned as it was, that's all they needed.
Yeah. I really don't think this wasn't somebody she would have let behind the counter. I think it was just done so quickly
that she had no time to react.
Yeah. What was your other theory?
The theory was they were either hiding or they lived right there.
Oh, wow.
Like, they could have been hiding there. I mean, it looked like there was
plenty of
places to hide.
There's a stock room there. I'm sure there was attic space. I'm sure.
Which I'm sure the police swept the place great. That's why I think they were outside of the store somewhere hiding, because there was so many houses over it.
Yeah.
Because there was other businesses around there. Because it looked like where her store was a shopping center type thing.
So, and I actually pulled it up because I give the address in the thing, but I don't have it anymore. But it's at a corner of 2 rows.
Okay.
And then there was like an older building next to it, and like another building right behind. There was 2 alleys in between. So if they slipped out to an alley, saw the police come, and then went the other way, they could have just went through the alleys till the next, wherever they could hide themselves. I really don't think she knew her assailant, like, as a friendly.
Yeah, I don't think
he was.
She knew of them, but didn't know them.
Yeah, and I don't think she let them behind the counter. I don't think there was a let. I don't think there was time to react. I think she saw them come in, and then
said, okay, that's who that is, and turns and return, like, could be doing something else while she's sitting on her stool.
Right.
Could have been reading, could have been doing a crossword, could have been doing a word search.
Whatever she was doing, it was just enough of a distraction to not allow her to grab her gun or machete.
Yeah.
Or set the alarm off herself. I do know that the fingerprints were supposedly sent off to either find a match or DNA back in like 2018, beginning of 2019, but there is still no articles reporting if they found anything. I would really wish, like, the DNA project, I don't remember the name right now, but the people that do the family DNA ancestry and like match it back to try to find, would be cool if they could do that. I don't know if there was enough DNA for that, but that would be interesting to see. I kind of wish they would at least say, hey, we didn't find anything, or we're still working on it. You know what I mean? Like, just give me something.
And I mean, for at the time, if they let them leaving the night, they knew they weren't going to know who they were. They knew it. They knew their fingerprints weren't going to be any fucking where.
Well, the fingerprints were on the knife.
But I'm saying, like, they knew if they ran their fingerprints
at that time,
they were not going to be anywhere.
They
knew that.
And this is 30 years ago. If a person can stab somebody in the heart and steal, I'm sure they've accrued some other dangerous habits since then.
Yeah. So maybe by now they might be in a system somewhere, but look, this could have been like a one and done. They wanted to rush and that was it.
How?
I don't know.
I couldn't live with myself, first of all.
No, I could never.
I just couldn't do it. It's like, no. But
And then, like, hearing from her brother and hearing from family members on the show and on the podcast episode was,
the niece, who's never even
Right.
met her aunt, is the one who called unsolved.
yeah.
And she figured it was a sign that they were going to be able to prove it, and they still haven't. And this aired back in 2019. They still haven't proved it. So I don't know.
Like I said, my personal theory on the case is, and I really strongly more feel like they lived somewhere.
Yeah.
Right there. I really do. I think it was somebody she knew from the area, but wasn't like friends with them. And they just, because it was in and out, planned meticulously, and then just went straight home. Because of course, if you do that, then the cops aren't going to see you because you could have been in one of those houses super close by.
Yeah, and how would they have? I mean, unless you had blood all over you, which there was no evidence of that. I mean, it was a knife through the heart. First of all, that's like precision.
Yeah,
I can't even
Jesus.
catch my children to change their clothes. Like, to take a knife and be able to directly
Quickly enough
Yeah.
to just be like,
boom.
boom.
That must have been a sharp ass knife too.
That had to be a sharp knife.
Isn't there a bone in front of your heart?
Yeah, there's a bone right there.
Yeah.
It was a 10-inch knife or something like that, right? So it had to be
And it
a
looks
sharp
like
knife. Did that? I want to know if
It
they
looks like a
practiced.
It looks like a fishing knife. Like when my dad would. Oh, this is gonna sound terrible. But when my dad would gut the fish,
Mhm.
that's what the knife looked like to me. It's like a knife that you would use on a fishing boat.
Yeah.
But I mean, they also live in Galveston, Texas, which I'm pretty sure is either an island or a peninsula. It's like surrounded by water, so it's
And they also said, I don't know if she still did, but at one point she had a meat market in the store.
yes.
So, and if you're cutting meat in a meat market, they have to be pretty damn sharp knives because you are cutting through bone and marrow and stuff like that. But then my brain goes, to hit in that one shot, did you practice? Did you practice to make sure you would be able to hit? Like, did you get something that was her height where she would be on that stool, or her height in general if she was standing up, just to be like, did you, how, because obviously, like I said, this is fucking planned. How deep was it planned?
That nobody was in the store, which means you were watching the store.
Yeah.
So
you figured out when her dead times were, because every store.
I mean, it's not like Google now where I can Google a store and be like, oh, they're busy right now. I ain't gonna go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can tell with Google because everybody's phone tracks them.
Yeah.
And it tells you, like, you can Google any store and see how busy they are.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So you had like this. Oh my god! It's just the amount of planning that very obviously went into this is fucking insane. And
And to me, it's more insane that we still don't know who did it.
Yeah, but I mean, also, how many cold cases are there out there that we still don't know?
I understand, but I feel like this
was in an area where somebody should have seen something.
That, and I'm also thinking of like today's time. We can't go anywhere without being on camera. But this is before I was born in 1989. So if like, I don't know what cameras were. Oh, I do know the cameras weren't that big when I was a child. So obviously there wasn't many cameras. The fact that it's still unsolved. All that's left is a VHS tape. And this was not in like the middle of nowhere. This was in the middle of a neighborhood.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's fucking insane.
I don't get it. I do know they're asking for Crime Stopper calls if you have any information. Again, I understand it was 32 years ago. It was before both of us were born. But if you hear or know of anything, I'm sure they would welcome that tip. Anything else you want to add on the insanity?
It's insane. Don't kill people. Eat your Halloween candy.
Keep it
Sit your ass
spicy.
down.
Yeah. Eat candy. Enjoy life.
Go
Don't
trick or treating. We
Why
can be
not?
adults and trick or treat.
I
I
mean,
might try it this year because I want candy.
I do it every year.
But you have kids.
I did it every year before I had kids. I was a
I
normal
never-
child.
I've been trick or treating once.
Yeah, you're weird.
No, I was homeschooled.
What's that got to do with the price of beans?
My mother was very religious and did not believe in Halloween, and Halloween was the devil's holiday, and we did not celebrate it.
It's actually proven to come from Catholic religions. But on that note, let's close this off.
Okay, so thanks for tuning into this week's Crime and Chill podcast. Be sure to follow us on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter for updates on episodes. Join our Facebook group, Crime and Chill Fam, to talk crime with us. Maybe you have theories about this case, and we want to know what they are. So happy Halloween, happy trick-or-treating, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye!